Hi everyone, Leanne from Jaded Blossom, and it's time for our Gnome Gift Card Slider Letter Add On assembly video. Hey, so I'm using the new Gnome Gift Card Slider Letter Add Ons, along with the new Sealed with a Kiss stamp set, the Gnome Gift Card Slider die, the Gnome Dies Girl Face Add-ons, the Gnome Dies, and the Girl Gnome Dies. And I'm using the P13 Stamping Pad Skin Tones, Lots of Love from Doodlebug, Love Notes from Doodlebug, and Party Time from Doodlebug. I'm also using the new, what are they called? Valentine Gnome Faces. I didn't show you those. So first I cut this little guy out of Paper Tray Ink white cardstock from the main set, the Gnome Gift Card Slider die. And then I'm going to add this piece on, which is the main piece again of the Gnome Gift Card Slider die. And I'm just layering on these two pieces, which look like the back of an envelope, and that's from the new Gnome Gift Card Slider Letter Add Ons die set. So I'm just going to layer those up. So one on the bottom. Now you can put it the other way if you'd like, but I chose to do it like that. So I'm using like the bigger rectangle or the bigger triangle on the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to stamp across the bottom of this one, Sealed with a Kiss. I'm using my Misty and some Versafine Clair Nocturne ink. There we go. And I'll just quickly stamp that. So it's going to look like this gnome is peeking over the back of an envelope or holding the back of an envelope. Now I'm going to stamp on the top piece as well. And this is just going to be some kind of, dotted lines, sort of like, how, the sketched out lines that you would write a return address on. And I'm stamping that with Versafine Clair Nocturne ink as well. There we go. So just quickly stamping on the back of that. The Misty comes in really handy for this kind of stuff. That way everything, you can re-stamp it if it doesn't stamp very well. All the things. So now I'm going to stamp the word from, and of course it's sticking to my nail. Just trying to line it up. I probably could have pulled out a piece of acetate, to line it up, but I do that a little later in the video. There we go. And then I'm going to glue the top piece of that envelope down with some Barely Art glue. Using my Stampin' Up pad to work on. All my die cutting was done with my Anna Griffin Empress machine. All the normal things that I do. There we go. And I do weight it down with an acrylic block. You're going to want to let that you're going to want to let that ink dry because it can smear. So you got to be careful. So I do have the face cut out using the Gnome Dies Girl Gnome Face Add-ons out of P13 Stamping Pad Skin Tones. Sorry, guys. Remember, that is available over on the Jaded Blossom store site, and it's under, Fun Extras, I believe. So now I'm going to stamp on one of the new faces. But first I wanted to chalk blend some, pink chalk on the cheeks. That's from my EK Success chalk set. And it's just not available anymore, guys. I'm sorry. It's a golden oldie. Okay, so now I'm stamping the face on top. And then I'm going to layer up the layer with the ears. And then the layer without the ears. There we go. Trying to be careful to avoid that new inked stamped face. Because remember, it can definitely smear because that stuff takes a little bit of time to dry. Although it's my favorite ink, you get really sharp images and sharp lettering with it. Okay, next I'm adding hair on, and this was cut using Bazzill or Basil, however you say it, like it's a dark brown cardstock. Next I'm going to add on the hat, and that is from Doodlebug's, that is the Lots of Love 6-inch pad. There we go. Remember, you can use whatever you'd like. I'm making this one kind of Valentine themed, but remember, you can use these sets for non-Valentine cards, birthdays, and other things. You could just, mix some other sets in there and use it for different things. So there we go. And isn't that a cute little face? Okay, I do weight it down and carefully try not to smear it. Next, I'm going to add on these little ponytails. That's from the Girl Gnome Dies. And that's not how we normally add them to the gnome. Normally we add them lining up with the bottom of the hat, but because I'm using the bangs from that Gnome Dies Girl Gnome Face add-ons, I wanted just to have the pigtails sticking out the back. And that's that same Bazzill. Now I'm popping up the little nose with a Stampin' Up! Dimensional. That's the miniature ones. And 2 little bows were cut from that Girl Gnome die set. And I used that paper from that same 6-inch pad from Doodlebug. There we go. Oops, and of course I picked it up with my finger. And there you have it. And isn't that cute? I just think it's adorable. Now this is kind of made to look like a wax melt. So I cut it out of Valentine paper because I wanted it to, you know, it's a Valentine card, right? I believe that was from that same Lots of Love 6-inch pad again. And then I'm going to pop up the lips. And that was cut from the same paper pad. There we go. And isn't that fun? How cute that is. And I'm going to pop up the little hands using these. They're Derice foam strips. But I believe they're not sold by Derice anymore. They have them. Other companies have them. I believe like Honeybee Stamps has them. Like, you know, everyone has these foam strips. You know, use what you can get. But they're great for these little hands. I just cut them the right length and they fit behind there. And then I'm going to have her peeking up over top of this card back. So it's kind of a fun look. Now remember, you could make your envelope a color if you'd like. Now I cut this piece out again out of Paper Trank white cardstock, and I'm going to score it about 1/4 inch down from the top of that rectangle. And then I'm going to reinforce the fold with my Teflon bone folder. And then I'm going to stick down the top of that part just with some score tape, and then I'll just use my ATG tape for the head. And what I'm doing is I'm making a shape card. Now remember, this is like a Gnome Gift Card Slider die, but you don't have to make it like that. You can make it into a shape card if you want, and that's what I'm doing. So I'm just going to add some tape to the top of this gnome's head, and then I will put what I've already made together, lining up the rectangle. There we go, and everything else will line up. And there we go. It's a little standing shape card, and that will fit in an A2 size card, an A2 envelope. Okay, so next I'm going to put together another one. This is going to be another Valentine's themed one. So I cut the back out of like a lightweight Nina Solar White 80-pound cardstock, and then this other piece is cut from Doodlebug's Love Notes 6-inch pad again. And so I put the white on the back and then the pattern on the front. The reason being is that I'm just going to, this is not going to be a slider. I'm going to have the gnome on the front, and there'll be a little pocket on the back that you can slip a gift card in. And then you can write directly on the back of this, right? So it's one flat piece. So now I'm just going to use some score tape. You can use whatever fits, but I had some 1/8 inch on my desk, so I'm using that. Just going to apply that. I like score tape because it tears easily, right? It makes this process much easier. I'm just going to peel off that release tape now, and then we will line these 2 pieces up to make a pocket. I kind of like this striped paper because I'm going to put a solid little, you know, using that rectangle die, I'm going to put a solid piece on top of it, and it'll look like it has that post edge around the edge. It's just kind of a fun retro look. So I'm just peeling off all that tape. Of course, I have no nails to do that with. But there we go, we make it work. So we're going to line those 2 up. And now we have a little pocket there. And then I'm going to put together this piece. So this is cut from that same paper pad called Love Notes. And there we go. And we're just lining that up using some ATG tape. And we're going to fix that right to the front. And you see it's got that fun edge, right? That looks like a post edge. And we're going to be making the same thing, you know, like a little pocket behind the gnome instead of the gift card slider. So you could make it a slider if you'd like, but I chose not to this time. And like I said, I cut that back piece out of the pocket out of white so you can write on it, right? So that's kind of fun. Okay, so we're going to put this together now. Now this hat is cut from that other pad from Doodlebug called Lots of Love. So it's just some little red hearts. Gluing that down. Next, we're going to put down the beard. This is cut from that dark brown basil or Bazzill. I never know how to say it. Maybe someone can correct me. I don't know. But anyway, there we go. So we got his little beard on there. And I'm going to ink around the mustache just so it pops a little bit using some Close to My Heart White Daisy ink. You can use any white pigment ink. It works. Just lightens up the edge so that mustache shows against the beard. Otherwise, it kind of looks like a blob, right? At least in photography. In person, you can tell, but you know. Okay, so next we have the little stamp I'm putting together. So that was cut from that same Paper Ink white cardstock. And then this piece is cut from paper from that Lots of Love 6-inch pad. And then the little heart is also from that Lots of Love 6-inch. Oh no, not Lots of Love. The little heart is cut from the Love Notes 6-inch pad. Sorry. And we're just lining up and making my little stamp. And then we're going to stamp on the front of this again using my MISTI. So this, on the bottom of this one, will say Happy Mail. So I'm just trying to line that up as well as I can. And then I'm going to stamp Postcard in the upper left. There we go. And just trying to get it straight, or as straight as I can, right? And then we will stamp with that Versafine Clair Nocturne ink again. You'll notice I didn't put the nose on yet just because that has dimension. And I knew I was going to be stamping on it, so I wanted to leave it as flat as I could. So there, just making sure I've got a good image, and I will re-stamp anything that's not. That little A looked a little wonky. And there you have it. So remember, be careful, that can smear still. Okay, now I have little cancellation marks. Now there's a set of 3, and then there's a singular one. Me being silly, I didn't see the set of 3, so I'm using the singular one to like line up some cancellation marks when I could have just used the set of 3, but you know, do what I do, or do what I say, not what I do, right? And I did it by hand because remember, cancellation marks wouldn't be perfect, right? They'd be a little bit messed up. So I popped up his little nose with Stampin' Up! Dimensionals, the miniatures. Then I'm going to pop up this guy's little hands using those Derice foam strips again. Remember, you can get those from other companies. Yeah, like a lot of other companies sell their own version. You can go with those. So I just cut little pieces and I'm sticking them right to the front of this pocket because remember, I'm not making a slider. So there we go. And we're going to pop up his little hands. Looks like he's holding his little postcard. And isn't that cute? And then he's got a pocket on the back for some cash or a gift card. And then you could write right on the back of it if you'd like. So I cut these little hearts from the new set, die set again, that Gnome Gift Card Slider Letter Add On. I know that's a big mouthful, right? And I cut those little hearts from that other pad. That is that Doodlebug's Lots of Love. There we go. And isn't that cute? Okay, so lastly, I'm going to make a birthday one. So I'm going ahead and so I'm using paper from that Doodlebug Party Time 6-inch pad. I'm going to line up the sentiment birthday mail. I'm just using my MISTI corners there, trying to get that straight. And I've also got this acetate little piece. This is from, I think it's from Simon Says Stamp, and it just helps line things up. It's got some lines on it and it helps things. So I'm just trying to get things all straight. I'm going to put down this little dashed line. Remember, you can do this any way you'd like, right? This is supposed to be fun. It's card making. You don't have to follow exactly what I do. You can make it however you'd like to make it. That's what's so special about it. So next I'm adding on the word from in the upper left-hand corner, just trying to make sure it's on the line. And then I'm going to add special delivery just for fun. Why not, right? And I'm going to stamp that in Versafine Clair Nocturne ink. There we go. And we got a pretty good image, so I'm going to peel that up. And now I'm going to put together this little pocket. And like I said, this is going to be a birthday pocket. So I cut the back out of Nina Solar White 80-pound cardstock, and then the front is out of paper from that 6-inch Party Time from Doodlebug. And I'm just going to use some score tape. This is like 1/4 inch. And I'm just running that along these little tabs so I can put this together and, you know, make a neat little pocket to put a little something in. I guess you could probably slip a treat in there as well if you wanted to, depending on the size. So I'm just adding, like I said, that score tape on, and then we will peel off that release paper in a moment and stick those 2 layers together. I really like the diagonal lines that just show around the edge. I just think it looks fun. So I am just fixing that, and I will add those 2 pieces together. There we go. And there is our little pocket. So there we go. So now I am going to add some ATG tape to the front of this piece. This is from that original gift card slider set, the Gnome Gift Card Slider from Jaded Blossom. I'm going to add this pattern paper to the front, and then I'm going to add the whole piece to my background. Remember that black ink is still wet, so try not to slide it around and smear it. Probably should have waited until it was dry. You can see there's a little bit of black ink on my pad from Stampin' Up, but I was careful not to, you know, smudge it around. And there we go, it's in place. And there's our little pocket. So now I'm adding the hat. That's from that same Party Time 6-inch pad from Doodlebug. Remember, you can use whatever paper pads you have. You don't have to do exactly what I do. But if you stick to one paper line, they're all meant to work together. Okay, so next I'm using some American Crafts light brown cardstock, and I'm just ink blending along the edge with some Close to My Heart White Daisy ink. Remember, use any white pigment ink. And it just helps that mustache pop from the background of the beard. So now I'm going to glue that beard on first. Remember, it lines up with the bottom of the hat. Here we go. Now, you'd probably want to wait until that white pigment ink is dry because it takes a while for that pigment to dry, but, you know, I am impatient. So there we go. And you can see how that mustache pops a little bit, right? So now I'm adding on some small dimensionals from Stampin' Up. I'm going to pop up his little nose because remember, dimension is fun. Next, I'm going to, you know, assemble my little stamp. So cut from paper tray white cardstock, then paper from that 6-inch pad from that Doodlebug, that Party Time. Same with the star. Isn't that fun? So perfect for a birthday. And then I will put that in the upper right-hand corner, trying to get a nice border. And isn't that fun? It's too cute, right? Now I do have some other stars that I cut from that new Letter Add On set. And I'm just going to add them in a visual triangle once I can figure out where they're going to go. Just with a little bit of Barely Art glue using my reverse tweezers. And there you have that. Okay, next I'm going to stamp, this says Happy Birthday in a little circle. Looks like a cancellation mark. So I'm doing that freehand. And isn't that fun? Happy birthday. And then I'm going to use the 3-line cancellation marks because, you know, I realized my mistake from last time. There we go. And then I'm going to stamp those as well, freehand, because those would be not perfect, right? And isn't that cute? He's just too cute. Now I'm going to pop up his hands again using those little foam strips. Mine are Derice, but remember, like I always say, you can get them from other companies. Use theirs. Or you can even cut your foam dimensionals, you know, in strips. That'll work too. I'm just like a lazy person. I like to have all my stuff just ready to go. So now I'm adding my little hands on. And there we go. And that's what they look like. Remember, you could do the slider version if you wanted, but this is just another way to use them. So thank you so much for stopping by. Be sure to check out the whole release over on the Jaded Blossom store once it comes available. And thank you as always for watching my videos. I really appreciate it. And stay tuned. There's lots more videos in store. Bye, everybody.